With Shedeur Sanders gone to the NFL, got ourselves a quarterback battle in Colorado. Is it going to be Julian Lewis, true freshman, or will it be Liberty transfer Kaidon Salter? We'll give you our pick. We'll break this one down. Before we do that, though, Colorado fans, make sure you are subscribed to the On3 YouTube channel. College football year-round, spring ball around the corner. Some schools are already starting spring football. Get locked in here. We're talking about spring games, talking about all things with this sport year-round. Appreciate you being subscribed. So like I said, Kaidon Salter versus Julian Lewis. This is a great problem to have, dude. Like we were talking before we got on the air here. You know how many schools would love to have two talented options in the quarterback room they could go to? A high-profile guy, the future of Colorado football, and Julian Lewis, then a guy who's played a lot of football and taken his team to a New Year's Six Bowl in Kaidon Salter, who also had a ton of production. We'll talk about that. That's a good thing, all right? This is a good thing. You know who wins in this whole discussion? Colorado fans, because you got, it looks like to me, two good options at quarterback. The other part of this, you sprinkle into those two good options the element of competition. And that's good for a number of reasons. One, the right guy is going to win the job because they will respond to the pressure the correct way. That's first off. Second, you would hope that the competition just is able to bring the best out of both of these guys. So even if it's Kaidon Salter finishing second or Julian Lewis finishing second, they got that much better because of it. So in that way, high tide should raise all boats and iron sharpens iron and all the cliches there. I want to make sure we say this, though. Whoever does get the keys to the Colorado offense, they will not be driving this thing with training wheels. That's not going to be their identity. Not saying they won't have a run game, but I think the approach will still be the same as it was with Shedeur Sanders in the lineup. It will be push the ball downfield. It will be throw the football a lot. It will be quarterback-driven. Skill player-driven, of course. Offensive line's got to do their job, of course, but it will go as the quarterback goes, will the Colorado offense. So there's no, we just got a true freshman out there. Let's make sure we help him as much as possible and kind of take some things off his plate. No, Julian Lewis, if he wins the job, he's the guy to drive this thing exactly how I think, in some sense, Shedeur Sanders was asked to drive the thing. More on that in a little bit. Now, Julian Lewis, like I just said, he is the future. He's absolutely the future of Colorado football. But maybe this is just a me thing. With all true freshman quarterbacks, for the most part, my default is I would love for the guys to be able to sit for a season, especially when you have an experienced, developed more or less quarterback in front of you to learn from. Felt this way about Nico Iamaleava when he got to Tennessee. Feel the same way about Julian Lewis behind Kaidon Salter. Like, I think there is such a thing in college football, but especially at the quarterback position, as playing too early. And now if Julian Lewis wins the job and he's your guy and it's not even a discussion, then like, okay, awesome, let him go ball and let him be great. However, going back to what I said, you can play too early and develop some bad habits. If you don't have success, it can bruise your confidence, which is tough to rebound. Like there's a lot of potential pitfalls that come from playing too early before you're ready to play, just for the sake of playing. Like that to me, that's not the goal here. The goal, if I'm Julian Lewis, is to have a successful college career, go get drafted at a high level and make a lot of money in the NFL. And oh, by the way, before that, make Colorado football a Big 12 champion. That's the goal. And so if that means sitting for one season to accomplish those things, let's do it. And my comparison here is typically whenever you get a nice ribeye, you could throw it on the grill right away. And it probably tastes good. But how much better is that ribeye going to be if you take your time with it, season it, dry age it, all those things that steak specialists do? Like, isn't that kind of the situation here that we're looking at here with Julian Lewis? That's how I feel about it. Now, I think Kaidon Salter does end up winning the job. That's my prediction for this as we sit here right now before having too much intel on spring practice for a number of reasons. The experience, the guy that's been in college football for 4 years, been essentially the guy in college football for 3 years when he was at Liberty. I love the mobility for him. This isn't to say that it's the same Colorado offensive line rolling in from the 2023 season. They've obviously improved a lot, and we saw that last season. But I do think that having an element of you don't know what the quarterback brings to the table on 3rd and 7, having to account for that, at worst, it helps allow the other parts of your run game to get rolling from the running back room, but also probably allows the defense to have to account for that and maybe more guys get open downfield. But Kaidon Salter ran for 1,000 yards at Liberty in 2023. The dude's a real deal athlete, along with what he's done at the quarterback position. So that in itself, I think, is a great equalizer for Colorado in some ways, and maybe more than an equalizer, maybe an edge for Colorado in a lot of ways. But I do think that how much football he's played, it's tough to account for the live bullets. It's tough to account for the battle scars. and you can get as many reps as you want in spring practice, and I think they will both get a lot of reps during spring practice. I think this goes through spring practice, but at the end of the day, I just think how much football Kaidon Salter has played is a massive advantage for him, and I think that's a big reason why he ends up winning the job. I think that's why he's ultimately the right guy when they end up playing football in the fall. Meaningful, keeping score kind of games. But I do think whether it's Julian Lewis or whether it's Kaidon Salter, Colorado football is in a different place than when Shedeur Sanders got there. And you give Shedeur Sanders a lot of credit for that. But as much as they won't take the training wheels approach with either of these guys, I do think how much better they are around them should be noted. And that's not just me telling you that. Like, look at what Colorado's done via the transfer portal. That's them telling you that. When Deion Sanders got there, they took 50 transfers his first season. Why? It wasn't good enough. There's a team that won one game before he had gotten there. We got to get better. The next cycle, they take 42 transfers. Still trying to flip the roster. Still trying to get our feet underneath us. Still trying to meet the talent requirement for this roster for us to go compete at a high level. This past cycle to this point, they've taken 17 transfers. Mic drop. Deion Sanders, from the way that he's approaching the portal, clearly feels different about this roster than what he felt prior to these last couple of seasons. I think that matters. I don't think that should be overlooked. So how does that relate to the quarterback position? If you're better around the quarterback, you're able to support the quarterback better, and you're able to win games in different ways. Like the first season that Colorado had Shedeur Sanders on the roster, there are games where Shedeur Sanders goes for 370, and they're losing. USC is a great example, 48-41. Shedeur goes for 370. Your quarterback goes for 370, you should blow the other team out, not just win the football game. It's not where they are right now, though. Defense has gotten better. Run game's gotten better, taking massive strides. This past season, you saw Shedeur Sanders go for less than 370, and that still had a great season, but you hear the point I'm making here. You're going to ask a lot less of a Julian Lewis or a Kaidon Salter relative to what a Shedeur Sanders had to do. Why? Because the talent around him overall is better. Who do you give credit to there? I think you give credit to Deion Sanders, give credit to that staff. So, again, we think it's Kaidon Salter to win the job, but regardless, we will continue to talk about this, talk about the Buffs, and talk about what 2025 looks like for Coach Prime here, and I can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see it. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your prediction. Julian Lewis or Kaidon Salter taking the first snap of the 2025 season for Colorado. Let me know. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. We'll keep this party rolling, and we will see y'all next time.